Hey, this is Keith from risingstronger.com. Thanks for being here. This video is going to be about how to get deeper into meditation, and more specifically, a couple things that can prevent us from getting in deeper states when we meditate. And meditation for me has been such a big part of my journey. It's been probably the most impactful, one of, if not the most impactful practices or things that I've done to better myself and better my life. So I'm really passionate about helping other people to see the benefit and understand how to do it, how to not get caught up in making it super rigid, but also how to get the most benefit out of it. And I think that there's a couple of things that don't get talked about that often in like meditation space or whatever you want to call it, but also certain things that have to do with the way that we live in the modern world that weren't talked about in any of the ancient cultures that promoted meditation. And I think that they're really relevant because they can very much affect how deep we can go in meditation when we understand the mechanism and especially the physiological aspects of where we go or where the body goes when we meditate. So I want to keep this pretty quick. I'm going to just go through these. I listed 5 things. The first one is blood sugar. And blood sugar is basically when we have imbalances with our blood sugar, it really affects our ability to be calm and centered. And a lot of people that we see that are very up and down, a lot of times anxiety and those things have to do with blood sugar imbalances. So when we're eating junk food, especially sugar and simple carbohydrates or junk carbohydrates like chips and bread and pastries and things like that, that's really going to throw off our blood sugar, and it will very much affect how our state of mind when we're in meditation. The next thing would be, I felt like there was something else I wanted to say there, but I'll come back if I think of it. The next thing would be Wi-Fi. And this is where it kind of helps to understand the nervous system and like what happens with the body when we get calm and when we get centered. We have 2 branches of the nervous system. The sympathetic, which is our fight or flight, and parasympathetic, which is rest, digest, relax, regenerate. And the more that we're in that parasympathetic state, the more relaxed we're going to be, the more calm our mind is going to be, the more we're going to be able to just sit there and be content while sitting there. Wi-Fi is a stress on the body. Wi-Fi is very stressful on our cells. The body is an electric organism. We're made up of electricity, and Wi-Fi is a frequency that is very disharmonic. It's what would be called non-native or a non-native electromagnetic field. So Wi-Fi and electricity in the house or electronic devices, outlets, things like that, can very much affect the state of our body. It can keep us in this state of stress, or even if we don't have anything to worry about or anything to be concerned about or anything for our mind to be racing about, this can kind of keep us in that state where that happens anyway. There's multiple things that can do that in the way that we live. Again, blood sugar being one of those. But if we can get out of Wi-Fi, for most of us, if we're in our houses or in civilized world, that's really difficult. But if we can get out of Wi-Fi, maybe meditate in nature, or meditate especially when we can put our body on the grass or on the ground, that helps to discharge some of those frequencies that accumulate in us. And if we want to, one of the things that I've been looking at recently is something called a Tesla Blue Shield, but there are devices that can be plugged in, and this has benefits far outside of just getting deeper into meditation. That's like the tip of the iceberg. But Tesla Blue Shield are certain devices that help to create frequencies that neutralize the Wi-Fi, so almost replicate what we would find in nature, where there's very frequencies that are very harmonic and familiar and healing and regenerative to our body and mind and spirit. The next one, I wrote belly. It really should be belly and stretch. So stretching, obviously yoga is goes along with meditation for a reason, but I'll get to why belly specifically. But anytime that we can get looser and get our body to a state where it's open, we're not only going to be more relaxed, which goes back to the parasympathetic state. We're getting into that beforehand, but we're also going to be comfortable. Our body's kind of open to sit there when we're tight or like can't sit up straight because our hips are tight or our glutes are tight. It's going to make it more difficult to sit and concentrate in meditation when we're thinking about our body being constricted. So that's a huge part of why yoga is such a big part of meditation. But the reason why I specified the belly is because, again, when we're not breathing properly, a proper breath, if you observe a newborn baby, they breathe through their nose and the belly expands first, and then it works its way up to the upper lobes of our lungs in our chest. That's where we get a proper breath. That's where we signal to our body and mind that it's okay to be calm, it's okay to be relaxed. If you observe most people, maybe you're one of them, it happens to pretty much everybody. We start breathing very shallow. A lot of times we even breathe through our mouth, which is really no good if we're not moving or exerting ourselves. But even when we're breathing through our noses, we're only taking these shallow breaths into the top part of our lungs, which again, in a survival sense, in the ancestral or primal sense, this is a signal that it's not okay to relax, that there's something in our environment where we're like a little bit shallow, we're really paying attention out here, and it prevents us from getting into a more relaxed state. So not only do we want to breathe into our belly, not only do we kind of forget to do that, but our bellies and our cores become so constricted and tight, we hold so much tension there. So if you even try, I mean, it happens for me too, but if you even try to breathe into and expand your belly, you just feel tightness and junk around here. So anything that we can do to, like I was just laying over backwards on a Swiss ball, just to bend the body this way, bend backward instead of, we're really hunched forward, a lot of us all day with our legs up because we're sitting. We just get really tight. So if we can open up the belly area, you can even just massage around your belly and upper abdomen just to loosen it up. You'll feel it 100%. You'll be able to tell a difference. But when we sit there to meditate, we'll naturally get into that state where our breath is full. And that has huge benefits for, again, getting deeper into meditation, but just health in general and the way that we feel and our body's ability to heal itself and to stay healthy. The next thing would be, I wrote theta waves. This is binaural beats. For me, for the first while that I was meditating, what I would do is listen to binaural beats. I will post a link to the one that I prefer, the one that I liked on YouTube. But basically, binaural beats help to create a certain frequency. They're like two slightly different frequencies in each ear, one frequency, another frequency. And by having those differences, your brain makes up the difference and creates a certain frequency itself, which there's various binaural beats. One of them, the theta, is really good for getting deeper into meditation. So that's kind of a hack per se that we can use to get deeper into meditation right from the start, or just get deeper into meditation in general. So to sit there and have binaural beats plugged in. And you will notice a difference too. You can also use binaural beats and theta waves. Like if you need to take a nap but you can't, plug those in. It kind of has the same effect on your brain as shutting your eyes for 15 minutes or something. It creates the same thing and you feel refreshed after and regenerated. So it's very useful. And then the fifth one, and I think this is the biggest thing. It's not necessarily due to the modern world, but I guess it is. The fifth one is giving ourselves permission that when we block out time to meditate, or when we decide that this is our time to meditate, that's what we're doing. That we allow ourselves permission to sit there for whatever time we decide we're going to sit there, to let go of any thoughts that come up, to if we decide or realize we forgot to do something, or we whatever, we have a task that we didn't complete, that we let that go until after. And I think there's two keys to doing this. One is beforehand setting that stage as this is my time to meditate. Nothing outside of me sitting down right now or whatever you're doing. I think sitting is the proper way to do it instead of laying, but I guess you could lay too. But the only thing that matters right now is me sitting and meditating. The other thing is that when we're meditating, even when we give ourselves permission like this, we're still going to have stuff come up. We're still going to have things that trigger our emotions. We're still going to remember things that we should have done or forgot to do, things that people said, whatever. Mind goes all over the place. But in those instances, to practice being the observer, this is one of the big things with meditation, is to practice being the observer in the sense that we sort of take one additional step back and we see ourselves getting caught up with the emotions. We see ourselves getting flooded with thoughts. So almost we have the thought of, maybe, I forgot to go do this. And as soon as we realize that we're having that, step back and be like, look, I'm getting all caught up, or Keith is getting all caught up in the thing that he forgot to do. And just taking that step back so we're not so attached to it. It's kind of allowing ourselves to be objective in the moment. And that's one of the benefits overall of meditation, is to learn to be more objective with what's happening in life, not get over concerned, not get overly attached, be able to see things more for what they are, and not get drained emotionally, not get so caught up in things. So that's it. I hope that was helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask or post them. And I appreciate you taking the time to watch. Have a great day.